Hey guys, and I'm back again pretty fast with another movie review, and I'm reviewing Transformers 1 because I never been a huge fan of the Transformers movies. I haven't liked a single live action Michael Bay movie. I haven't liked a single one of them. I always thought they were just like some of those movies that are all about spectacle without much substance or story. And the only Transformers movie that I did somewhat liked was the 80s animated movie Transformers the movie, although I always thought it was overrated and I never thought it was particularly great either. Just, it certainly was much better than any live action Transformers movie, but ultimately I never thought it was as great as everyone made it out to be. And even Bumblebee I thought was also overrated. I think that the fact that Bumblebee was objectively better than all the Michael Bay movies made it seem way better than it actually was, at least in my opinion. And then, even last year's Transformers movie, don't even remember its title or much anything in this movie, was totally in the style of all the other live action Transformers movies. Yep, I don't remember almost a single thing about it at this point. But then I've been hearing from people that Transformers 1 apparently is good, and I've even been hearing that apparently it's the best Transformers movie, even from people I trust. So I decided to look into it. I mean, I probably would see it anyway, just so I could review it for you guys, but at the same time, I probably would see it later if that was the case, but I've been hearing just some really good things about it, and plenty of people have been saying best Transformers movie ever, and I thought to myself even better than the 80s movie. And then again, it's not like I think it's particularly hard to be better than the 80s movie, because I never thought that movie was really that great either. And I'm happy to say Transformers 1 really is that good. When I went to see it, I was already ready that maybe it will be just the best Transformers movie, but not particularly good either, but I was wrong. I really had a blast and a great time with Transformers 1, and I will say this is the first Transformers movie that I wouldn't even call good, I might outright call great, because I really had a great time and a blast watching this movie. It is really the best Transformers movie ever. It certainly blows out all the live action ones out of the water, and yes, I even think it's better than the 80s movie, much better than all of them. The main characters of this movie are Optimus Prime and Megatron. Those are probably the most memorable Transformers characters anyway, for most people, and also they were actually under different names like Orion and D16, but it's hard not to just not call them Optimus Prime and Megatron. That's how we all always knew them anyway, and how they became lifelong enemies, and basically the whole origin story of that. And there is not a single human in this movie, kind of like in the 80s movie, and I think that very much elevated the movie's quality in my opinion, because one of the major problems of the 80s, of all the live action Michael Bay Transformers movies, is that human characters are never interesting. It's always like the robots are really the most interesting part of those movies, while none of the human characters were ever interesting. They were all so bland. The best human character was the girl in the Bumblebee movie. She was probably the best of all the human characters. But generally, the human characters in the Transformers movies were never interesting. And as I said, I think this is among other things that really elevated this movie so well, by not having a single human character, instead focusing on the robots. So yes, the story is about early friendship between Optimus Prime and Megatron, and that was the biggest highlight of the movie. How close friends they were and all that, and then at the end how they become lifelong enemies. And I think the story of what evolved from their close friendship, basically like brothers, to lifelong enemies, totally made sense. It made perfect sense in the context of the story. At the very beginning, when they're just close friends, you can't even picture how could they possibly become enemies, but then by the end of the movie you get this feeling, this totally makes sense. Yeah, although the Michael Bay movies, from what I remember, bits and pieces, they did allude that they were friends at some point, but considering how much enemies they were, it's basically, I always felt I just don't see it. But here, after watching the full movie, I thought, wow, this completely makes sense. And the action in the movie was actually for the sake of the story, not like in all the other Transformers movies, just get to the action, more blow-ups, action. No, but here, action only serves to enhance the story, because this is a perfect example that's stories and character relationships first, action secondary, because action was only there when the plot called for it. Was it over the top in the Transformers fashion? Yes, it was. But at the same time, at this point, the story was well told, and you were so invested in the story that over the top action only enhanced a movie at this point, in my opinion. And the movie also had plenty of emotional moments. And I was actually surprised how many of them there were, because when you think of Transformers, as I said, you never really think much about any emotion. But here, there was plenty of it. And as I've already been saying, and will say it again, the true highlight of the movie was the close friendship between Optimus Prime and Megatron, or Orion and D16, whatever they were called in this movie. That was the true highlight of the movie. Everything in the movie felt so organic, because if you compare the very beginning of the movie, especially the relationship between Optimus and Megatron, or again Orion and D16, at the end, it's like completely different. Like their beginning relationship and the end relationship is just like basically on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. They start out like just basically brothers, and I mean like not biological brothers, but like close friends, like brothers, to complete lifelong enemies. But the story is told very well, and it all organically makes sense. And when I say this is how to properly establish a relationship and then evolve it or devolve, whatever in this case the word you use, into completely something different. And it all happens so organically. And like, I also really love the ending of this movie, because this is one of those movies that ends on a very satisfying note, but it also very much opens doors for potential sequels. And this is, I think, how to well set up a potential sequel. Not like end on a cliffhanger, even if you don't even know if you actually are going to do a next movie. No, this is done properly. Kind of complete a main story of this movie, but also very much open potential doors for sequels, while also end this movie on a very satisfying note. Like, this is how to end a movie on a satisfying note, while also very much open doors for potential sequels. And I'm actually very much up for the sequel. Like, I heard rumors that apparently this is like a prequel origin story of the Michael Bay movies, and when I hear that, oh please no, because Michael Bay movies suck. This is really good. So I'm honestly think this shouldn't be a prequel origin story, but a reboot origin story, because as I said, I'm very up for the sequels, and I would really like more movies from those creators that just made this movie. Like, as I said, it very much opened door for potential sequels, and I'm very much up for the sequels and see where next they're going to go with this story, because now I'm very much invested in this story and the fates of those characters. So yeah, I'm very much up for the sequel, and as I said, it shouldn't be a prequel origin story to Michael Bay movies. No, it should just be a reboot, an entirely new timeline. That way you have complete freedom to do more stories and also go in some interesting directions with those stories. And the final thing I'll have to compliment this movie, I also really like the robotic animation. Yeah, I think the animation was also really good, but overall I'm very surprised to say it, but I really had a blast with Transformers 1, and it's not like I ever believed I would actually so much had a good time with a Transformers movie, but here we are! And this shows what I've been saying a couple of times already on this channel. If you have passion and love for what you're doing, then you have a good project made. So, yep, really great time with Transformers 1. Very much hoping for sequels and to see where next they're going to go with the story. And thank you all of you for checking out this video. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye!